Well, pay TV consumers will have a new option with Apple, said to plan 99-cent TV shows. David Bank, Managing Director of Global Media and Internet Research at RBC Capital Markets, joins us now to discuss new media opportunities. David, always glad to see you. Thanks so much for coming into the newsroom. But before we talk about TiVo, I want to ask you, we have this story from the LA Times that Michael Eisner, the former CEO of Disney, may be back, right? Exactly. May be looking to do something at Tribune. How likely is this, and is it a good idea?
Well, how likely is it? I mean, I think he certainly is a viable candidate as a former high-powered media executive, having run a large company. You know, a pretty good resume to run Tribune. But it doesn't matter that
Disney gave him the boot in 2004.
But you know, look, a lot of talented managers have good runs and then bad runs. I think the bigger issue to me is, has he ever run a newspaper? You know, that's the bigger question. And even if he had run a newspaper, does he have a magic bullet? And I think, you know, obviously the answer to both is, it wouldn't seem to me like he has run a newspaper or has a magic bullet. I think a really interesting thing about Tribune is that one of the things Sam Zell did was he brought in a guy named Lee Abramson to I think he was like chief creative officer or some role like that, to kind of reinvent the newspaper business. Lee Abramson was the chief programmer at XM.
Days, anyway?
And I was going to say, you know what? It didn't really turn out that way, right? They didn't exactly because it's tough to reinvent the newspaper business. So I think whoever it is has a pretty big challenge in front of him. I think the question is more for Eisner.
Why would he want this?
Does he want to take it on right now? Does he want to prove that maybe there's a little bit of corporate redemption? You know, he gets back and he turns around Tribune. I think it's a tough road to hoe.
But if you were sitting around with Eisner and just having dinner, would you say this is an incredibly stupid idea, or would you just say go for it?
Well, I think it would be tough not to do it if I were Eisner. That's the bottom line. You're giving me a chance after I've essentially been fired on a really public stage 5 years ago. You're giving me the chance to try and pull it off again. I would bet he'd be interested.
Hard to pass up that kind of challenge. Okay, David, so let's talk about Hulu, how Apple is getting into TV. I mean, it was actually a Bloomberg exclusive that we have this idea that Apple is going to be offering basically to rent TV shows for 99 cents. So you don't even have to make the decision to buy it. You're not really in competition with some of the cable companies. What do you make of how this space is shifting?
I think it is a win-win for everybody, and I think it's exactly how I'd sort of like to see the sector play out. The key difference, you know, great scoop on your guys' part, but as an a la carte rental, you're talking about a really different product than a Netflix or cable TV like subscription product. So I think the rental product is not seen as a threat to the ecosystem, which is currently paying these networks a ton of money right now on either, you know, retransmission compensation affiliate fees or cable channel affiliate fees. Rather, it's an incremental opportunity. And the way the ecosystem builds out over the next couple of years on digital, I think for everybody to keep making the base money they're making.
That, though? I know you're saying you can't upset the ecosystem, but for how long?
I think it's going to be quite a while. I think people are unaware of the enormous amounts of money that the MSOs are generating for all these content companies. And it may not be Disney ABC, but Disney ESPN. You know, ESPN is the engine of Disney right now. So do you really want to upset the ecosystem, which is generating over half the profits for ESPN?
So this would make everybody happy.
I think so. I think everybody wins. There's an incremental opportunity from digital for the content players, and you don't upset the rest of the ecosystem.
David, thanks as always. David Bank joining us there from RBC Capital Markets.